Hey, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to get a um, quick answer, I guess, on the curcumin and ovarian cancer. So here I am on PubMed, and I did my search curcumin and ovarian cancer. You can see I have it in quotes, and then a lot of good hits on this. Molecular targets of curcumin and therapeutic potential for ovarian cancer. Boom. Okay. This is a review, right? So they talk about some of the other studies that have gone into this. Excuse me. What is good about reviews is they'll post all of their sources that led to that opinion. So as a, follow the breadcrumbs approach, that's one thing that I find really helpful with reviews is it really helps you target your search and help you essentially find those firsthand reports, those articles that led the researchers to these opinions, instead of the more shotgun blast approach of like, I'm just going to put this out there and see what I can find. It can really help you target your approach. The other thing that it can do is help you start to get familiar with some of the researchers in that field. So as you read one review, they will list people. Often there'll be a supplementary review. Someone else will have their own opinion on it, and they'll often cite the same author. So you can see how there's some reoccurring names in there, and you can follow those names more specifically as they're building their research. So I just want to highlight a few things. I'm not seeing anything negative so much. Now this is just a headline scroll, so we do need to go more in depth. But what I really like was this number 3, this one right here. Curcumin and resveratrol inhibit chemoresistance in cisplatin-resistant epithelial ovarian cancer cells via the targeting P13K pathway. So I associate this pathway. I do want to link that and connect that to the Metro map, the Jane McClellan Metro map, just to see exactly where does that fit into the pathway. But that to me is a clue on what is feeding your cancer. So I would want to dig into that more. And here's the other thing too, is like the doctors are so good at telling us what the next step is. And that's your cisplatin, right? Your platinum resistant ovarian cancers are essentially a death sentence. And I have an issue with that. How do we make those cancer cells uptake chemotherapy, if you're going to go that route? How do we do that? And there are some things you can do to make them more sensitive to your chemotherapies. So curcumin and resveratrol in this case are showing that this has great potential. Again, I would want to read the conclusion and just see what they came up with. Now this is a retraction. So they've that same article they posted in 2021, and then they've republished it in 2022. So it looks like they changed some data, or changed how they're presenting the data. I'd have to read it just to know exactly what, but a lot of free articles in here, free PMC articles. Okay, so here's another pathway, STAT3. I know I've seen that in the Jane McClellan book, STAT3 and the NF-kappa B signaling pathway. So here we are talking about, let's block all of the pathways, regulating the SERC, HM3, something axis. Okay, so pathways. What are the ovarian cancer pathways? What are your pathways? I think that's going to be your ticket, right? To know your cancer. What are your cancer's pathways, and what are we doing to block it? I think that's a way that will help us achieve remission. So with that, again, here's your, I guess, what is this? Welcome to research part 2. Again, don't get too scared. If you don't know a word on some HCAR1 MCT signal, I don't know what that is. But what you can do is, as you're reading through these, start looking at, take a list of these terms. Don't get too hung up on it. Take a list of these terms and then and then do a Google search or start learning the language. And that's okay. Like this is so much that, you know, this is one way that you can be deliberate about learning the language and becoming more familiar with your cancer and what feeds it. I'm very interested in this, ferroptosis. Jane McClellan's last chapter talks about ferroptosis. She talks about that being an option for ovarian cancer, particularly advanced ovarian cancer. So for those of the ladies out there in that boat right now, if you haven't started reading about ferroptosis, that might be a great thing to start looking at. So good morning. And yeah, like I said, here's our part 2, introduction to research and how we help ourselves learn about ovarian cancer. Okay, we're going to get this. It's going to be remission in the future. I feel it. We're doing this. Happy Wednesday.